this evening we'll proceed as follows. In a moment I'm going to ask David King, who's the head of technical for Syngenta in the UK, he's going to come and give a short talk. He's going to talk for maybe 20 minutes and talk a bit about how Syngenta is planning to adapt, and perhaps more importantly to help its growers to adapt to the challenges of climate change. And he's going to give some UK examples and some practical things that Syngenta is doing in this area. Then, fingers crossed, I'll introduce our main speaker for this evening, Professor Tim Benton. He's going to talk for about an hour, after which I'll join him back and we'll sit down there in those two chairs and we'll have about 30 minutes of questions and discussion. And then, hopefully, you'll all join us. We've got some food then waiting for us outside, and we've got some time for us all to talk more informally over some food and some drinks afterwards. Now, we always try and pick an appropriate location for these events. So tonight we're here at the British Antarctic Survey, in fact in their brand new headquarters. It's so new it hasn't even been officially opened yet. Now the British Antarctic Survey has played a really important role in our growing understanding of the whole phenomenon of climate change, particularly through its monitoring of changes in coverage of the polar ice sheets. But you might be surprised to learn that the British Antarctic Survey is also involved in a number of other areas of research that have a direct impact on farmers. So first I'd like to thank them for their hospitality tonight. It's a fantastic venue. But also I'd like to invite their Director of Innovation, Beatrix Schlab-Ridley, to come and just say a few words about some of the work going on here. Please give her a warm welcome.
Thank you very much indeed, Carl, and allow me to extend a very warm welcome to you on behalf of British Antarctic Survey and our brand new Innovation Centre, Aurora, Cambridge. I personally am utterly delighted to have you here as an audience for this event, because my background is I'm a plant biochemist, and before I joined the British Antarctic Survey about 3 years ago, I worked in the Department of Plant Sciences down the road and worked very much at the interface between academia and the application in the industries that service farming and farming directly through the InCrops Enterprise Hub as well. And it's lovely to see some colleagues we collaborated with beforehand from ADAS here, for example. So I'm delighted to have you as an audience join us here. And as Carl has already indicated, there are some areas in addition to the investigation of climate change that could be of relevance to the farming community. One of our research branches looks at the biodiversity of the polar regions, which is staggering, particularly in the marine area, and these extremophiles can teach us so much. They have traits that I wonder whether, if we understand them, we might be able to learn something for the future, for development of future crops that are more resistant to changes in temperature and UV and drought situations, etc. We're also looking at biopesticides from extremophiles and the like. In addition, one of the science areas we are very actively involved in is remote sensing, and indeed have had joint collaborations with colleagues from NIAB and others in precision farming, applying that remote sensing capability for decision making in precision farming. And it's been lovely having conversations before we started here also with the colleagues from China and Tibet. One of the areas where our glaciologists are applying their knowledge is in high mountain Asia, and understanding how we can inform water management decisions for farming communities there based on the knowledge, or identifying how much fresh water is locked up in the glaciers, and also applying microclimate modeling for each of the valley areas to understand how quickly this resource is likely to melt. And the final bit of connection between British Antarctic Survey and the farming community is, you might be surprised and delighted to know that, yes, there are farmers in Antarctica, not ploughing any fields, but actually our staff in the research stations down south very often are sourced from the farming communities, because we have big pieces of kit, big machinery, snow plows and the like, and they need people who know how to deal with that big kit. I don't know whether you've had a chance to watch a Horizon program that BBC aired a couple of weeks ago about the movement of our most remote station, Halley, and you will have heard one of the farmers from the UK who was towing one of these units. So it's lovely to see farmers in Antarctica. It's lovely to see you here in our brand new Innovation Center. And I'm delighted that you're here. I'm so sorry I can't stay for the networking later on. My family is waiting. But I've left my cards with Carl and my colleague Matthew Pulane, who is our innovation manager, and will give you a quick snapshot of some other areas of science and operation in BAS now. He will remain here as well to show you around the rest of the facilities as well if you wanted to, which includes a collaboration space where we would love to stay in touch with you longer term as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bea. Okay, a warm welcome to you all today, and also a chilly welcome from our colleagues down south who've been enjoying a sort of about minus 50 degrees. So, very pertinent, this location, because just a few meters away from us over there is where the ice cores are stored, and this is a key component of understanding the past 740,000 years and what has happened. Our colleagues here from the IPCC will completely understand this. So this is a cross-section of an ice core, and in here you can see the bubbles which contain the oxygen isotopes that can lead us to an understanding of how the climate has existed in the past and the rate of change and what events may have caused some of these changes. And here you have a picture of the lab and the slicing machine. But the other thing that we need to bear in mind is it's not just obviously the carbon dioxide we're looking at, it's the basket of greenhouse gases. This is an extremely quick run through of what we do here. We're part of 6 bodies under the Natural Environment Research Council. And the thing that most people forget about is the scale of the operations that we undertake here. So not only do we have the engineering departments and operations as well as that support the science and the technology to get people out to Antarctic, but the logistics is incredible. So just to give you an idea, when you're looking at our various stations from King Edward Point down to where Halley was, so it's been shifted a few kilometres to avoid Chasm 1 and the Halloween crack that you might know about. Most people don't really get an idea of the scale until we actually put it next to Europe. So we're actually having logistics that's taking place from Edinburgh across to Ankara out to Moscow without fuel stations, without the internet, without roads. It's the closest that we have to going to another planet. Everything has to be shifted on there. We can't leave anything behind. So the logistics involved in operating out in these extreme environments is considerable. Also, we work very closely with a lot of other external parties in helping to develop, to refine and improve the approach that we take in monitoring the glaciers as well as the atmosphere, space, weather, and also the species.
So, this evening,
which you might have seen out in the Meet and Mingle area. It was designed to be launched out of a sonar tube on the aircraft, so that instead of sending a crew out across the ice to place measuring devices into the ice areas, these can be dropped out of the aircraft far more efficient. Actually dropping some group of sensors out of an aircraft, when it hits the ground at about 100 kilometers an hour, it has to perform pretty well. And also it's to last for about 2 years, cycles down to about minus 75 degrees. So we have to do things in quite a spectacular way. But also, it's not just the polar regions. Bea touched on the Himalayas. We have some ground-penetrating radar that has been used to look through the ice and understand the stratification of the ice and also the bedrock underneath. But this has also been used in Tanzania to look at the groundwater more accurately, which is not polar at all. So it's an area of official development assistance eligible countries that can take advantage of our polar expertise. And we also, with the Aurora that's just been opened unofficially in March, the rest of our staff have been able to finally walk through from one building to another. We have this collaboration space as well as the venue that you're in today. And the collaboration space is there for people to come in and have a pied-à-terre, if you like, a desk for just from 1 day a week or more. And what we offer is that interaction, that serendipitous interaction with our scientists, engineers, and operations. which is proving very, very fruitful. So that was a very rapid, quick snapshot of some of the things that take place here. Thank you very much.